It made me go, yeah, that's really how the movie made me feel. The movie The Bikeriders was not a stereotypical biker movie. There is a lot more emotional depth to this movie than you're going to find in like Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man. So The Bikeriders is the new movie from Jeff Nichols, and it's also written by Jeff Nichols, and it's based off of the Bikeriders book by a photographer by the name of Danny Leon, who followed the Bikeriders and what would become America's first like real massive biker gang. He followed them around and like recorded their whereabouts and studied them for like a lengthy period of time and put out this book. It is actually really told from the perspective of Kathy, played by Jodie Comer. Kathy is basically the narrator of the story, and she's basically giving an interview over multiple audio recordings with Danny Leon, and she is not the only person that provides audio recordings. Like Danny Leon is running around getting like moments the whole entire movie, and it's really kind of cool because I just watched recently. I watched, well, not recently, whenever it came out a couple months back. I watched Civil War, and that movie follows the perspective of photojournalists, and it kind of gave me some of those same thematic vibes back. The one thing that I loved about this biker movie that's going to separate it from like Harley Davidson, the Marlboro Man, or like Easy Rider, is there was a really crazy love dynamic, not only with a romantic interest, but maybe like more of a idealistic interest. What I'm really trying to hint at is in the movie there is a basically three-tiered romance, I would call it, between Jodie's character and Benny, who's played by Austin Butler, and Johnny, who's played by Tom Hardy. And basically, Johnny and Kathy are in love with Benny for different reasons. And the reasons that they love Benny is tearing Benny kind of two different directions. Not really, because as Kathy, Jodie's character, describes Benny, he's kind of this like cold and disheveled guy, and he really doesn't show very much emotions, but there's an unspoken tension between all of them and an unspoken love, I feel, between all of them. It's something that not only permeates through the screenwriting of this movie, but it permeates through the cinematography as well. Like, there's moments in this movie that go by as so tense, and they have no talking at all. Like, Tom Hardy as Johnny in this movie has such presence. And yeah, this is going to be another movie where Tom Hardy is doing a weird accent, but I actually really like his accent for this movie. I thought he killed it, actually. And his character is very interesting to me because I want to know. This movie left me wanting to know more about Johnny, because Johnny ends up being the guy that starts what becomes America's first biker gang. And he doesn't really have the stereotypical background that you'd think that somebody that would do that thing has. He's actually like a family man and has a wife and kids, and that's part of why he's drawn to Austin Butler's character. But I really don't want to spoil too much for you guys. It's just a really cool dynamic, and it's really well written, and it left me wanting to read the book because it's such a good story. I want to know how accurate the movie was to the book, and on that regard, Jeff Nichols killed this. I'm very excited because he's also accredited as a writer-producer for the new Quiet Place movie that's coming out, and I really love the Quiet Place series, so I'm very excited to see what else he's got coming. If you're not familiar with him, he's also the guy that's responsible for the thriller movie Take Shelter, and the one with Matthew McConaughey, Mud. He did those two, if that rings any bells. But this may be my new favorite piece of his work, to be frank. It really takes the cake, and it's really beautifully written and shot. As I said before, the lighting in this is to die for. One of the scenes that ends up being like one of the more kind of bummer scenes in the movie, I guess you would call it. It'll be the party where the dude gets his butt beat. But at that party, there's this like conversation that's taken around a fire pit. That scene is so well lit, and they really encapsulated what I feel like the whole vibe of that scene was about at that time. And one of the cool things that they did, I feel, is they really showed the progression about how it got out of control. It kind of felt like if Goodfellas was about bikers. That's what it felt like, because you saw the rise up and you saw the downfall. It really felt like this crime epic with this underlying love story that was really good as a subtext for everything. And I have to give a big shout out. Norman Reedus as Funny Sonny is probably one of my favorite like random characters that shows up. And Funny Sonny, if you ever watch the movie, is a great example about what I feel this whole era was about. I really have to give it up to Jeff Nichols on this. He knocked it out of the park. It was really amazing. I giving it 4 out of 5 stars. That's going to be it for the video today. I'm actually going to go start shopping online for used motorcycles. And if you don't like it, well, some will like it.